Hi Raquel, I'm Jake Garrett, and this is my wife Katrina. First of all, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to consider me for this position in your church. Katrina and I have been married for 15 years, and we've been raising a family for most of that time in Houston, Texas.
We have 4 sons. Our older 2 are in junior high, and our younger 2 are in elementary school. And I was a teacher for a while, and then I've been a stay-at-home mom for about 10 years, and I just recently went back to work. And I work at an alternative high school in our school district.
So discipleship, let's talk about that for a minute. It seems as I've surveyed the churches over the last couple of years, a lot of educational ministries are trying to make a shift into discipleship, and a lot of times they're doing that in name only and not really creating a paradigm shift within the ministry. And so I wanted to give you a working definition that I use for discipleship. Very simply, it's empowering believers to carry the gospel. It's very simple. And in that, we have 5 components that we work with: teacher, text, community, passion, and commitment. Obviously, you have to have committed, solid leaders. You've got to have a good working knowledge of the text, both in an exegetical manner and in a topical manner. You've got to have a community that supports discipleship. And the last 2 are really where discipleship comes together as an art form, is when you've got committed people that have a passion for what they do. Oftentimes we have people that are passionate about things, but then it burns out over a short period of time. On the flip side, we have people that are committed to things that they're not very passionate about. When you're able to harness passion and commitment together, you create a synergy within the discipleship movement that really carries it further than any one person. I'm passionate about discipleship because it's how I came to Christ, and it's how I lead other people to Christ, is through the disciplines of discipleship. And so several years ago, I had the opportunity to work with Sagemont Church in developing their discipleship program through their men's ministry. Over the course of about 18 months, we went from my kitchen table all the way to a large megachurch on the south side of Houston. And since then, we've had the opportunity to take a step back and let it carry on its own. So now we're looking to move into a full-time discipleship role. So why Rock Hill? I think you've got a couple different reasons why you're poised to jump on the discipleship movement. Number one, you've got a pastor that's teaching the text. Katrina and I have both had the opportunity to listen to several sermons, and he's left quite an impression on us. Number 2, from that, it seems that you guys are growing pretty quick, and we're pretty excited about that, to be joining in on that movement, to take people who maybe are new to the church and start to develop them into leaders and dedicated followers within the church. Third, you're in a rural setting, and Katrina and I both come from rural settings in New Mexico. And so we're pretty excited about having the opportunity to raise our 4 boys in a rural setting. So what are some of the unique capabilities that I can bring to your church? Number 1, I think strategically. Oftentimes we have ideas that are difficult to bring into life, and that's exactly how I think about things. I think about how you're going to walk through. I mean, it's one thing to know true north, it's another thing to know how to get there. And that's how I approach situations. Number 2, I'm capable of managing several different ministries or organizations or programs at the same time and bringing those into a cohesive set to where we can bring those to life at the same time. Third, I have proven success in discipleship specifically, both in my personal ministry that I do in everyday life, within my family, within the community outside of the church, and also bringing a discipleship program to life within a church. And lastly, I develop original content for discipleship, both in spiritual formation. I've got a friend that I work with right now, we're developing a curriculum, and then also in what I call structural spirituality. Again, thank you for taking the time to consider me for this position in your church.